You've seen the online protests from the National Service Personnel. What are you doing about their situation?
Thank you so much. First of all, I think it's important for me to mention that management of the National Service Scheme understands the concerns and the plight of the National Service Personnel regarding the delay in the payment of their outstanding allowances. And we must also commend them for their enormous and continued service to the nation. I want to use your platform to assure them that management has worked assiduously around the clock to pay the outstanding 2-month arrears in the shortest possible time. You rightly said, and listening to the interviews you granted some of the National Service Personnel, we have paid them up to the month of December. And so we owe them January and February. And for the month of January, I can confirm to you that the January allowances have been processed and the National Service Personnel would have their allowances early next week. I can confirm that to you. I know the reach, the coverage your medium has, and I would want to repeat what I said, that early next week, National Service Personnel would have the January allowances. And then for February, I can also confirm that to you that management has already taken steps. And in fact, the steps are in their advanced stage to clear the month of February. And so we want to assure all the National Service Personnel that their concerns are well noted and every step that management is supposed to take to address them has been taken. And I can assure them that management has already completed every single step it's supposed to take for their payment to be done early next week for the January allowances. And then the February 2 measures have already been taken. And then in the next few, a short period after the January payment, the February would also be done.
Are there genuine challenges as to why their allowances cannot come at the end of every month promptly as they're supposed to come in?
Actually, if you look at the trend of the payment, with the exception of January, February, all payments have been done basically within the period that they are stipulated to come. I think that is because we faced some challenge, and that is why the 2 months delayed a bit. But the good aspect, the good news is that the challenges have been cleared, and the personnel would have their January allowances early next week. I can confirm that to you.
Okay. So early next week it is for the allowances to come in?
Yes, early next week, the January allowances will be paid. And then for February, like I mentioned to you, steps have already been taken, and the steps are in their advanced stage to clear that of February, immediately after the payment of the January allowances.
I mean, there are a few months more for this batch of National Service Personnel to finish with their service. Yeah. Are we going to see, some delays coming in, and they would always have to, agitate before, these things are being worked on? Because really, looking at the economic situation and how things are in the country, as most of them are saying, it is difficult for them to go even a month without not having the allowances come in.
Now, we can assure them that, like I told you, because of some peculiar challenge that the scheme faced a couple of weeks and a month ago, that's why we find ourselves in this scenario. This is quite unusual. You remember, prior to January, all payments have been done on time and on schedule. The personnel would attest to this. And so once the challenge has been cleared, we can assure our service personnel that their payments are intact and they will be paid on schedule from March and February up to the time they complete their service around September, October. So we can assure them that whatever that the system, whatever that management is supposed to do to ensure that the allowances are paid on time, trust me, management is so committed and will see to it that they are paid on time.
Great. Thank you very much for talking to us this evening on Newsline. So that was Armstrong Essah. He's the Director of Corporate Affairs at the National Service Secretariat. And he says that next week, for that of January, it will come through for the National Service Personnel, and that of February is also being processed.